Welcome to the Where My Dad's At podcast. You know what it is. You know where we are. You know who I am. I'm Will. You know who he is. This is Marco. And by his side, little Marco. Apparently, we have another co-host right now. He's supposed to be behind the camera, checking online to make sure the stream is going good and people are checking in. But he want to be on camera. So that's okay because this is where my dad's at. We're dads. And he's a son. So he is here. You got a long time before that, boy. Don't make your dad gray hairs come in already, man.
I'm telling you, man. Yeah.
Hey, that's crazy. You know, if you become a dad, you know what that makes him, right? What kind of dad does he become?
Granddad.
A granddad. You ready to be a grand?
No,
nah, you got a long time, man.
Yeah.
You got a long time. He does look too young. He does.
He does.
Yep,
yeah.
Let's keep it that way.
Right.
Let's keep it that way. But welcome back to the Where My Dad's At podcast.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's been a while. Yes, we had a lot of stuff going on. A lot of moving pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Some traveling has taken place.
Mm-hmm.
Some different interesting things have gone on.
Yep.
So we're going to jump right in. We just want to welcome y'all back. We're glad to be back.
Yep.
We're in our spot. The weather's perfect.
Weather is, wow.
Yes, it really is. It really is. We're by the pool. The pool is not officially open, but there are people in the pool. So that's what's up, man. People out here getting some sun. So apparently we have 2 people on Instagram. Shout out. 3 people on Instagram. That's what I'm talking about, man. We moving up in the world, man.
Let's go on.
Yeah. 3 people. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, but okay, the one up, one down.
Oh, yeah.
I got you. But yeah, man, how things been going for you?
Been good. Staying busy, staying on my grind. Work is being work, you know. That's why we probably haven't got on for a couple of weeks. I know we recorded maybe a couple of weeks back.
Right.
But now my position it kind of, I think within a sweet spot on the calendar, it considers me to travel.
Yeah.
So I had to travel maybe 3 weeks ago to Richmond for 3 days.
Yeah.
That was an experience. And then I just got back from, your home ground town, Columbia, Maryland. I was there for like just for a day and a half.
Right.
But it's a good thing. A lot of people, when it be in the situation I am, whatever, like it was recommended to me. People told me like, hey, this is for you.
Right.
It helps you grow.
Right.
People I connect with, whatever. It's kind of pushed me towards, more to, be like, hey, I think I can build in the fitness world of YMCA, whatever. I keep going on this route, whatever.
Yeah.
It's to the point, if the president of YMCA sees you in the hallway and kind of give you that, but hey, what's up, Marco? I'm kind of like, no name tag. I'm kind of like, okay, you know who I am. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So it's kind of like, hey, it's that connection, whatever. And it makes me feel good.
Yeah.
It makes me feel good, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's always good when you've been putting in the work and then you get acknowledged for the work.
Yeah.
And then you get in this case, acknowledgement being like, whatever you're doing, your work that you've been putting in makes it so your name is on my desk. Like I know who you are.
Yeah.
And that's pretty cool because it could be the opposite way. It could be you causing so many problems in a company that they know who you are, but we know that's not the issue.
No, it's not the issue. It's not the issue at all, man.
Yeah.
I was very hesitant to move up in the company.
Okay.
But me being on these past 2 conferences, and then talk to the people and then people that knew who I was already.
Right.
It kind of opened up my eyes a little bit, and you can't be in the same position forever, right?
Right. No.
And it's kind of one of those things, kind of like, hey, we see you, we are acknowledging you, you know, like, hey, there's like, let's we want you to take it.
Yeah.
It's just up to you if you want to take it or not. You know? Believe it or not, I had to travel to Carolina for like a day.
Oh wow!
Before I left to go to DC, right? And I got an award. I know I was getting an award.
You didn't tell me about that.
Yeah, I got an award for excellent achievement, whatever.
That's what's up, man.
It had like a little survivor background, whatever. Like like, hey, he goes beyond, like pretty much like, hey, I'll do this and that, whatever, you know, to get what I need to get done. I was kind of like, wow, like, all right, cool. Like they And then it's kind of like, I'm leaving there. They're kind of like, hey, we'll see you in Maryland. I'm like,
Right.
"Well, I'll see you in Maryland, whatever. When I get there, people know who I am. They're like, hey man, that's Marco, man. He's the fitness director at Portsmouth, Virginia. Like he's very known for his,
Wow.
A, B, and C. And I'm
That's what
kind of
I'm
like,
talking about, man. Yeah,
it makes me feel good,
yeah,
and
yeah,
it makes me feel like, I'm coming up in some way.
yeah,
It does evolve more attention and more work. But for me, this is what I told them. They asked me like, how do you get through, doing ABC without getting stressed?
right,
And to them, I told them for me, it's like waking up and breathing. I just do it.
right.
And they was kind of like, whoa, you know what I
Right,
mean? And
right.
nobody answered was like, they was kind of like, they gotta get the mind together. I'm like, nah. It's like waking up and breathing, man. I
Yeah,
just do it.
yeah.
And I think the president kind of like, yeah, we got something. We got something.
So when you say that, not only do they got something,
Yeah.
but like on a larger scale, you got something, because that's not a very common mindset.
Yeah.
So that's something that like you potentially, I'm gonna throw it out there right now.
Uh-huh.
The book is coming.
Oh,
the
man.
Marco Barnes book is coming. So we can go ahead and
man.
put that out there. This man's gonna be writing a book that's gonna touch on fitness, touch on his journey, and it's gonna touch on like his mindset and how he's able to establish that mindset and keep it going.
Yeah.
I see that for you.
Do you?
I see that for you. Yeah. Because when you it just kind of hit me, whenever you get people to like stand back and kind of like in awe of how you accomplish something, that means it's valuable. That means other people can use that.
Yeah.
And that means these people are like, let me know more, let me learn more. So
Yeah.
you got something right there. You
Yeah,
got
man.
a nugget for people, like a gem to drop on people.
Yeah,
You
man.
really do. So
It's good stuff, man. The Richmond trip,
right.
it was good. I first of all, Richmond, a lot of people don't know, has a lot of history, whatever. I didn't know too much about Richmond, even though it's the capital of, Virginia.
Right.
I'm everybody's driving to their classes. I'm walking around the city. Everybody said, Marco, it takes like 35 minutes to get to class. I'm like, I'm gonna walk it, man. I'm walking, seeing the history. I'm like, wow,
Nice.
you know what I mean? And I think it kind of hit me there. I'm kind of like, Marco, brother, man, I think you're making it. I'm kind of talking. I'm kind of meditating to myself, whatever. Kind of like, hey, man, like you're making it.
Right.
And I'm like,
right.
I'm like this is surreal.
Nice.
And I kind of look back at other people that kind of try to push me from the road, kind of like, hey, man, don't do it, whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm kind of like, wow, if I would have went that route, where would I be right now? And now I'm kind of like, and it's one of those things like, take appreciation what you have.
Right.
Jilt the plate you have in your hand.
Right.
And this is what I have right now.
Right.
And this is what I'm gonna have, and I'm gonna go with it, right?
Right.
And it's one of those things like I'm appreciative of it. My executive, I don't know if she watches podcasts, and I'm pretty sure she is. Dr. Aisha Williams.
Right.
Every meeting we have, she'll, and even her own meeting, she comes to me and she told me one-on-one, whatever. She'll be like, Marco, I'm just letting you know, I have these meetings and I tell people like, who's your best, representative, blah, 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 whatever. Everybody in the wild, all the managers, we're excellent, right? I'm not saying nobody's above, nobody,
right.
lower, whatever, but she's saying like, I bring the name up just because, I send you something. Again, it's like me breathing, whatever.
Right.
I get it done.
Right. That work ethic.
Yeah, pretty much. She's kind of like, she says, Marco, I see other executives and you're 10 times over them.
Wow. Wow.
And I'm not saying no names, whatever. One executive came up to me, he said, Marco, I'm not going to, your work ethics is way, and she said, it's way over mine.
Wow.
How do you do it?
See?
And I'm kind of looking at her, kind of like, what should I say? I'm kind of like, and I looked at her, kind of looking at you. I'm like, I love what I do.
There you go.
If I didn't love what I do, I'd probably be kind of like hicking up.
Right.
But I wake up every day and I'm like, hey, what I got to do, what gets done, let's get it done. If it's not done, I'm going to get it done.
Right.
You know, and that's how I do with everything, man.
That's what's up.
You know?
Man. That's what's up.
So it's one of those things. Like, man, you know, I'm coming towards that part of my life, like Marco. Like, you ask God every day. You know, I thank God every day for what I got, and now God's kind of slowly, but like, hey, this is what I got for you.
Right.
What you gonna do with
What you gonna do with it?
And I'm like Randy Moss. I'm catching it.
Yeah.
And I'm going with it.
Yeah. We love sports analogies here on the Where My Dad's At podcast.
Right.
We mentioned one before about, you know, taking whatever opportunity you have and treating it like that lob pass, right? Your point guard done hit you. Maybe the pass is not right at the rim, but you stretch out, you grab it, and then you make it into something.
Yeah.
You reverse tomahawk, whatever that thing.
Yep.
And that's what it seems like you're doing. And you know, I definitely admire that about you. I admire the fact that, you know, you've been open to share some of the difficulties on your path.
Oh yeah.
You've been open to share how you didn't always see yourself doing this, and you still have moments where maybe it's like, I don't know if I'm in the right place, but you have that faith in that wherever I'm at, whatever I'm doing, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to do it. You know what I mean? And like getting back to like we talked about our faith before, and just like having that opportunity to like glorify God through our actions, right?
Oh yeah.
Like to glorify God through like whatever task we're in, whether we the trash man or we the executive, like whatever task we're in, like treating it like something that, you know, somebody else can look at and wonder, how does this person do it? And you say it's like waking up and breathing. And I know you connect that to your faith. Like that's all because by the grace of God, right? So you wake up, you take another breath, you accomplish another task, you face another challenge with that faith. You know what I'm saying? And again, that doesn't mean there aren't points where it's like, whoa, this is a lot. Man, we're going to face those, right?
Yeah.
But it's like knowing that I have purpose in where I'm at right now and pushing through different things because of that purpose, man. And it's awesome to see, like I said, when you got people asking you, how are you accomplishing? How are you, you know, moving? That means you got something valuable. And you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I have to tell you, be thankful of that. And you know, God is also going to give you a platform and multiple platforms to like share that with other people,
man.
So that's just amazing. And you know, I love giving props. So that's one of my things, man. I don't care. I got pom-poms, I chili, whatever.
Man.
Listen, I brag about you.
Man, don't brag.
No. It's one of them things where like it feels good to know somebody in certain positions and doing certain things.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like, you know, yeah. Anytime we talk about like health and fitness, I bring up, I know somebody who's like up high in the Y.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you know, say they give me fitness advice and stuff. And so I'm kind of like dropping your name, you know what I mean? Bragging about you.
Hey, man, it's funny to say that. I would never think somebody like, hey man, I know somebody that's higher up. Because, you know, I was down here, right? It's funny, you know, people say, I know somebody, and you're the only one to say that. I know somebody that's higher up, man, Marco, man. You know what I mean?
And I'd be like, he runs all of this, and this.
Yeah.
And I don't know exactly if that's the truth, but in my mind, that's what I want to say.
That's
so I say it.
Dude.
I say he run the whole fitness, the whole Northeastern region.
Hey.
And look, I can say that. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But you might be talking up in my, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You might see it. I don't see it though. You might be saying it, and God like Will sees it. Now let's you know what I mean?
That's a great way to look at it.
You know what I mean?
That's a great way to look at it.
I'm kind of like, dude, it's to this day, I'm kind of like, I see it, but I kind of push one like, I don't want it. And then God's kind of like, hey, boy, you want to.
Yeah, you're there.
You got to take these gems, baby. Do what you got to do, man. Because I'm trying to tell you, I walk in those conference rooms, I'm looking at everybody, I'm kind of like, you know, it's one of those people that comes to, and I'm not trying to downplay nobody, but you know, you come to the table and people start talking, and you know they don't know what they're talking about. They try to make it sound good.
Right.
When I ask a kind of question, they're kind of like, and then everybody's kind of like, oh man, he kind of hit him with a hook, whatever. And you know, and everybody's kind of like, this person, you know, knows what they're talking about, you know. And it's like, if I didn't have that, I'm pretty sure if I didn't have that executive, they kind of pushed me, but like, hey, I don't expect you to be in this building the following year. and I'm kind of like, I want to be. They were like, she shook her head. She kind of like, nope.
Wow.
If I'm, she said, I'm going to be here. Because she tells everybody about me as the
Right.
president. He again, remember, he came up to me.
Yeah.
He knew I was, whatever. Like, because he saw my face, whatever, and I would say, "Hey, Anthony." He, I'm kind of like, kind of, if I see you for the, hey, what's up, Anthony? He kind of like, he grabbed me, like, what's up, man? I'm like, whoa, like kind of like the Matrix. I'm like, oh God, you know what I mean? He's like, hey, man, what's up? I'm like, hey, how you doing? He's like, when you get here? I was like, I got here yesterday. He was like, man, I should have got here yesterday too, man. We left yesterday afternoon, man. That was
Right.
stupid crazy.
Right.
I was like, yeah, Trevor, you be crazy.
Yeah.
He's like, man. He said, when you leaving? I'm like, I might leave a little. He was like, I might go with you too, man. Like, you know what I mean? It's kind of like me, you talking when I'm like, oh man, he's just like me and
Right,
you.
right,
You know what I
right,
mean?
right,
He's not
right.
that much older than I.
Right.
You know what I mean? And when I
Right.
talk to him, I'm kind of like, dude, he just got a title.
Yeah, he just got a title.
He
Yeah,
just got a title.
he's a human
man.
being.
You know
man.
what I mean? And I'm
Yeah.
like, could I do that role?
Yeah.
I think I could.
Yeah,
I think I could.
yeah.
It might not be the YMCA. It might be
with another organization.
another organization,
Yeah,
whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm like,
Because once your name starts floating around in the circles of your organization, you
Yeah.
can best believe some of those people are talking with people in other organizations.
I think so.
And they're sitting down, they playing golf with people and doing.
Yeah.
So your name starts to like float outside of your circles into
Yep.
other circles, and it's like, ooh, we might need to go snatch him away.
I might need. I think Mike got pick him off.
Yeah. Is he a free agent?
Yeah,
like,
you know what I mean?
I'm saying? So yeah,
that's
they would snatch you.
That's one of the
They
one
would
of the things about
snatch
the
you.
conference, whatever. Like
Yeah.
everybody's like for business cards, whatever.
Yeah,
I would say Richmond, they be trying to call a brother, and I'm like,
Yeah.
man, it's just not. That's not my area, whatever. They're
Right.
like, well, you ever change your mind?
yeah,
You know, it's like,
yeah.
I'm like, nah,
That's
you know,
awesome, man. That's got to
you
be a good feeling to know
it
that
is.
you're wanted, like your skills are
Yeah.
appreciated, right?
Yeah.
Who you are,
They show dollars too.
right?
But
Yeah,
I just tell them like, my son established right here,
Right.
whatever. It's just,
yeah,
my family's here. They was like, okay, well, ever change your mind?
Yeah.
Reach out to me. And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna change my mind, but I appreciate you
right.
acknowledging me.
Right,
but
right,
it's all
right,
good
right,
though.
right.
Yep.
Exactly. And those when one of the things I learned is like when people establish those lines of communication, don't hesitate to like reach back out to them and just be like, hey, remember we met such and such and see, because a lot of times what'll happen is maybe they wanted you for one position and then that position got filled or whatever like that.
Yeah.
But now something else is coming up, and just like you said, people are bringing your name up. That person's like, oh yeah, that's right, Marco. Oh, he'd be great for that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so yeah, it's an awesome thing networking, man. That's real cool.
Man.
I'm definitely glad you're getting the opportunity to network like
hey,
that.
look, man. Enough about me. What you been up to, man?
Man, what have I been up to? I just been. What happened? Spring break? Yeah, we did the spring break thing.
You guys survived.
We did survive spring break.
You're not gonna survive next year.
Next year, hey,
Boy,
we
man.
definitely survived,
So
man.
what y'all plans? So the weather's breaking.
Right.
It's pretty much like hot every day, whatever. Father Day's coming, whatever.
Ooh.
You know what I mean?
Ooh.
So
Ooh.
we're definitely gonna have we definitely have a Father Day. I think every year, us still being on, we're gonna have a Father Day podcast, whatever. Because
Yeah.
anyway, it's our day.
Yeah. Yeah,
but
for sure.
what y'all plan for the summertime, man? What y'all got going on?
Man, what we have planned for the summertime, man? We start soccer in August, so that's the end of summer.
Well, you start in August.
Yeah.
I just got an email. He starts practice next week.
Really?
They said
For
congrats.
fall ball?
They said for fall and advance. They said congratulations, blah blah blah, whatever. Here's what you owe. And I was like, practice starts next week, and I'm like, I was on conference. My wife, hey, Marco got practice. She was like, I thought we had a break.
Right.
Oh God, man! So at least you got a break.
Yeah. Oh
Right.
no, for sure. We
Yeah.
took.
You tell coaches about
Oh yeah, really? Yeah, we took a break for the spring.
Okay.
And so we had stuff going on with like our son who's into like music and choir and stuff like that.
Okay,
Like he had a
cool.
bunch of stuff going on. So it's been pretty easy, and then we'll ramp back up in the fall. But summertime, I think that's pretty much we're just gonna work out in anticipation for the fall.
Okay.
We're gonna try to get some skills up and get some basic conditioning and stuff like that. And for real, man, just work on content and creating. That's
So he likes music. Is it all type of music or one certain type of like?
All type of music.
So,
Like
he's trying to learn like the machine. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
all three of the kids are into music. Aubrey's a big as far as like listening, but she has a real eclectic sound. Like she's into the Beatles and all that stuff, right?
That's fun.
Yeah, exactly. So I appreciate it. And then Carson sings, so we're trying to get him like on the worship team at church,
Okay.
so he can learn all that stuff. But then he's in chorus in school, and then he does musicals and stuff in school.
Mhm.
And then the youngest, him and Carson are both trying to learn piano right now. So
Okay.
yeah, that's the next thing. So we'll probably do some lessons over the summer and get
Okay,
them
cool.
introduced into that.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's one of the things they're doing. And like I said, both of them are most likely going to play soccer in the fall. Matter of fact, signups are tomorrow at 8 a.m. And if you don't, it's only 12 spots per team, and they go like that. So yeah. So
So I gotta drop my deposit for help. I mean, he made the team, whatever. but-
yeah, he good. Yeah. So we're gonna do that, but no other big plans over the
No.
summer, man. Like I said, I want to link up with you and go to Columbia at some point.
Okay.
I don't know when that falls, but we'll do that
All right.
and go up there and get some content.
Even if it's not a conference or whatever, man.
Yeah, we can just
you know
shoot
what I
up
mean?
there.
Shoot up there.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, we just got.
For sure.
At least I got somebody to talk to and take care of driving with. You know what I mean?
Oh no, that ain't no big deal. Yeah, I love that.
You know, because
I used to do Maryland trips in a day, man.
Oh, God
I used to
bless
do Maryland
you, dude.
trips in a day, like it won't nothing.
Well, you
man.
must knew the sweet spot time to leave then.
I mean, it was a slightly different time. I don't think there was as much traffic up there.
But have
But-
the highways changed since you've been?
Yeah.
Okay, because
Yeah,
now it's
yeah.
like this on top of this on top of that. on
Right,
top of
right,
this.
right,
And I'm
right.
like-
Yeah,
I'm like, dude, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
this is hectic crazy.
Yeah, no, I would never go up there. Like, I would always go up there with time.
Okay.
So like, I never had anywhere to be by a certain time.
See, okay.
So I was
All
going
right.
there to visit and just hang out and stuff like that. So yeah. When I first moved down here to Virginia Beach, I would go back and forth to Maryland. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
All right, well.
but
Be aware.
So
of
if we go then whatever, you're like, hey Mark, we're gonna leave right here, man. This time we're good right here.
yeah,
It's a sweet
yeah.
spot right here. I'm like, all right, cool.
Right, yeah. The sweet spots is of course stay out of that dang rush hour. If you can avoid that rush hour.
I think I hit when kids were getting out of school.
Yeah.
Because like
See?
school buses try to
Yeah.
go within,
Yeah.
and those school buses in Maryland, man, they brave. They put their turn signal on, whatever,
And they just go?
and they just turn. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, okay,
Yeah,
that's how we are. That's how we doing it,
Yeah.
baby.
Beware of coming back from conferences in Maryland.
Yeah, but it's
Be aware. I have a good
It's-
fact.
Be aware. Be aware. You heard it. Be aware.
and I don't know. Ever since you moved, whatever, but I realized Maryland and Boston have a different language lingo.
Oh yeah.
So I went to go get me a sandwich, and the girl was talking to me. I'm looking at her kind of like, "Can I get me a a single hot club sandwich, whatever?" She's looking at me kind of like, "What?" And I'm like, and I looked around, kind of like, "Oh, did they speak a different?"
Yeah.
Can I get a hot single sandwich club sandwich?
Yeah.
And she was like, "Do you want skinny bread or what do you want? What do you want?" And I'm like,
skinny
and
bread.
I'm like, "Oh, she got an attitude with her."
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
kind of sat back like, "Okay, all right, nope, don't reflect that, whatever." And I said,
Right.
"Can I get one?" The number one.
Yeah.
She like, "All right." And I'm like, "All right, well, hey man, she got
That's
an
funny.
attitude."
And that was in Columbia?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
like,
that's
yo,
funny.
I'm like, all right, cool, man.
I have a good fact for you guys when you're coming back from Maryland from a conference.
Really?
Be aware when people coming from like Virginia and Baltimore, from Virginia, be aware if they're going to DC. And
Okay.
don't go when school buses are going home.
Exactly.
Be aware.
Don't do that.
People.
Yeah. Tell the people. Look at the camera. Tell them.
Be aware.
God,
Be
man. Okay.
aware.
But I got a question for you. Why you telling people to beware of traffic? You don't even know how to drive. How you know about traffic? You don't know nothing about traffic.
He's the one that's in the backseat of his GS.
Susan.
Like, hey, we
Yeah.
there yet?
Yeah, yeah.
I was like,
I got a question for you. You hear your dad, right? He like the YMC. He about to be the YMC king or something, right? How are you proud of your dad with the YMCA? Like when you see him going to conferences and stuff, you're like, that's cool. That's my dad right there.
If he's going to a lot of conferences, I know there's something good happening.
Wow.
Okay.
The
Wow.
man above is telling him something. Is telling the people something good.
Look, say that to the camera. Either one of them.
The man above us, he's telling me
Right.
right now.
Right.
You, I know. He's telling us he's gonna be on a future book. He's gonna be the future president of the YMCA, even other organization.
The sky's the limit, right? The sky's the limit. I believe that. I believe that. And we have to have faith that that's the case. I love it, man.
Again, other people see it. My son sees it,
Look,
you know.
Look.
Again, you know, it's one of those things. If it does happen,
Yeah.
we can always come back to the old podcast videos, but like, hey, you know, it was talked up, you know.
Yeah.
But it's right now. I'm at the part of my adventure, like I have to kind of be like, hey, take the rock and just go with this. Right now, I took the rock.
Right.
I'm going with the conference, whatever. Because right now, first, you know, Mark, we need you to drive 4 hours to Maryland. You know, I'm in there kind of like this punishment. Like,
right. You could look at it like that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
You know, and then she took me to the side. She was kind of like, "Nah, Marka, like out of all the people in the organization, whatever, it's only 3 of y'all that got picked."
Right.
And I'm kind of like, okay, you know, and like we want you to go because of A, B, and C. And I'm like, all right, cool. And I'm thinking like, you know. Like, no, it's not the case.
Right.
You know, and, you know, even when I was driving there, you know, when you drive by yourself, yes, you're lonely, whatever, but you also have time to think.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, I'm like, hey, man, you're not going to be in this role for a long time. And how things going right now, you got to have a plan. What's your plan going to be?
That's crazy.
What's your plan going to be? What's your plan going to be, Mark? I'm just driving. I'm like, if they offer you a position.
Right.
To be in corporate as a fitness or whatever,
right?
You would be silly not to take it,
right?
You know what I mean?
Right.
It comes to you, whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, what's going on? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? And I'm kind of like,
so important, man.
It is.
That's so important.
And maybe I needed that time to be by myself. You know, between Junior and my wife, you know, people talking whatever. I just needed that time to be like, hey, man, like this is the thing,
right?
And I thought a lot, man. And I was like, you know. This is what I always wanted. I think for me, it's scary.
Yeah, man.
It's happening.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you ask God for this. And that. You kind of like, it may happen,
right?
And then He gives it to you, and you're kind of like, oh.
What they say? Be careful what you ask for.
Right?
You
and
just
I'm
might
like,
get it, right?
Yeah, right. And I'm kind of like, wow, man. Like this is, you know, it makes me feel honored and feel good. You know, even like the chick in the hotel room. Hey, Mr. Bart. Thank you for being a platinum, you know, and I'm like, wow, like that's me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's me.
And look, and I don't eat junk food.
Right.
Would you like a warm chocolate chip cookie? Yeah, I ain't want to eat it, right. but yeah, you know what I mean? And I took that warm cookie and I put it on my hotel desk, and it's sitting there for 3 days. And I'm like,
you just walking down the hallway giving a random person a cookie.
Yeah,
would you like a cookie?
You want a cookie? You know what I mean?
That's hilarious.
This wasn't a child, but
that's hilarious. That's hilarious.
Like, you know, and
I said, I'm not going to eat it.
And that's why I told her. She kind of looked at me kind of laughing.
Yeah. That's cool.
You know,
it's yours though. Take it.
You know, it's funny. And my wife calls and she sent me a text message. Mark, I'm so proud of you. You know what I mean? She said, like, you know,
I love it.
You came a long way.
Yeah, man.
You know, from, you know, since we talked about it on the old podcast, I can look back since, you know, struggling when Mark was first born,
right?
And taking the job that I really should have took, and I took the butts, you know, the kick butts on that, and
right.
You know, the hard times, whatever, to, you know, and this is what I will say on the show, and I will say on live.
Right.
You know, Dr. Aisha Williams asked me, why wouldn't you go higher than an executive, which I know you're competent of doing even more. And I told her about the hard time I had at Wyndham. I said, I didn't have the proper training.
Right.
I learned how to do forecasting. If people don't know, forecasting is you're to predict how much you're going to bring in revenue towards each, you know, department.
Right.
You know, and pretty much, you know, I wasn't taught it that way.
Right. You just kind of got thrown into it.
I got thrown into it, right? And I was like,
I thought he asked you for some money.
nah.
Let me get $5, Dad.
It worries me because it took a toll on my family, right? I had to pick up my family, moving back to Virginia. I didn't have a lot of my name. You know, it's hard, right? Yeah. It's scary. And I told her that. And I talked to a therapist every Thursday, you know, this and that. And she was looked at me. She was saying, like, you was in a situation with somebody in a corporation that didn't give you the proper tools that what you need.
Didn't set you up for success.
They didn't set you up. They kind of took you in, kind of like, hey, this stone man, he'll learn as you go.
Right.
And I'm listening to her, like, all right, cool. She was saying, like, Marco, half the stuff that you say that you don't do, you're already doing it already. Right. You know, but it's what you're comfortable with, right?
Right.
And I told her, like, she said, what happens if corporate sends you to somewhere for a class for a week for forecasting? I'm like, well, I would take it. She was saying, like, she said, I got you. I'm like, all right, cool. You know, I'm sitting there. I'm going to the conference, whatever, you know, and you know, coming up, whatever. Hey, we're gonna get you in these trainings, whatever. You know what I mean? Because you have the tools. We're gonna give you the tools. This is the resources we have. Right. You know.
You'd be amazed at how many people wouldn't take advantage of it.
Right. You know.
You'd be amazed.
Instead, you know, and I'm kind of like, you know, this person's kind of like, hey, I'm showing her things on the computer, and she's kind of like, I don't, you know, and to me, again, it's like me breathing. I'm like, hey, this is that, whatever. And I'm kind of like, you know what, Marco, just close your mouth. Right. Whatever got, just take it in your hand, whatever, and let's rock. It's kind of what I'm doing right now. Good. And I got more conferences coming up. Good. At least give me a break for a couple of months, I think. Right. It's coming. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So but I get everybody advice. If God gives you something, man, just go with it. If God gives you something within whatever you know you're doing, with like our podcast show and all of that, whatever, even with me, we're gonna rock with it, right? Because I think he's kind of blending it with us, whatever. Give me this, come on the podcast show, right? For me to meet Stormy,
yeah. You told me how to talk about that.
Stormy Blue, right? You know, she come up to me, you know, where she's in the class, we'll talk, you know, she's doing her thing, and I'll go to the party or whatever, and then she was saying, like, oh yeah, blah blah blah, whatever. And she said, you know who I am, and you know, politely, I'm like, no disrespect, right. I do not. Yeah. But I said, like, I will, you know, I'm a food critic in the local, you know, 757 area. Whatever. I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. I said, you know, I'm not big like you are, but you know, me and my boy, we do like a little small podcast or whatever. She was like, look, send me, you know, your thing, whatever, you know, and I'll try to do my thing. I'm like, all right, cool. Will it happen? It might. If not, at least I attempted to do that, whatever, right? So I think little small things here and there is adding up. It's just for us to open up our eyes and be like, hey, that's it. Boom. Take it, give it, take it, give it, take it.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Those opportunities will come. Yep. And it's a question of whether or not, you know, we have the faith to step out there with those opportunities. Yep. And like you said, man, just meeting people and seeing what will happen from it. You know what I mean? Just kind of like a seed, like watering it and seeing what will grow, man. It's big. Man.
I think for me, I don't know about for you, I think I just got to start opening up my eyes and ears more and kind of realize the situation we're in and be like, hey, this is an opportunity. Like, you know, like, hey, what you going to do with it, whatever. Right. You know, I'm like, all right, cool. Like, you know, so many, and I'm sitting there kind of like, I'm not, no disrespect if you're watching, I just didn't know. That's why I texted you. I texted y'all, and I saw that it says you was you might follow. It says that you was, you're a follower. I'm like, all right, maybe Will knows her.
Oh, I am.
Yeah, I'm like, okay. I'm like, all right, cool. Maybe he knows or whatever. Maybe like one of her food things. Like I don't know, whatever. I'm like, I'm like, all right, cool. And I asked somebody else. They were saying like, yeah, cool. I know who she is. Whatever. Yeah. I'm like, all right, well, I follow her. I think she follow us back. She might be watching this. Like, I don't know.
I'm like, I'm like, cool. If you're watching this, hello.
Yeah,
we appreciate you watching.
Right.
We'll definitely check out your content.
Right. Sure. It's one of those things. Like, I want to follow her. She follows back, whatever. And then it might lead to another thing. Another thing. I'm like, it's not going to hurt my back if I don't try. I'm like, hey, cool.
Yeah. I know. For me personally, I follow so many people. It's hard for me to keep up.
I
Because
got you.
whenever I see something of value, I follow that person.
Well,
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like whenever I see something that's positive,
Yeah.
something I think that somebody else can use or
Yeah.
that I can use, I follow them. So
Wow.
I like follow a bunch of people, and then so my For You page, my timeline or whatever is just filled with different people.
Yeah.
So I'm sure I've come across her. Unfortunately, I probably just follow too many people to come across people on a regular basis. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that I probably have to go through and weed some stuff out. But
Just don't delete her.
no. If I already follow her, for sure.
No, you're
definitely.
you're a follower.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
glad to hear that, man. Like, seeing those opportunities, and that's another thing that like discernment and just opening our eyes to what God's putting in front of us, man. It's big. It's big. You can very easily miss your opportunity.
Yeah.
Thinking about all the negative things that you may be dealing with, like anxiety of whether or not you're good enough and stuff like that.
Yep.
And I actually listened to a podcast on the way over here that I started earlier today, and I figured it would apply to us because I know both of us have spoke to this at different points, not really knowing if we were good enough for it, right? Not really knowing if we had the skills or the abilities to have a podcast, to do different things. I recently applied for a position, well, this last year now. At the end of last year, I applied for a position with a local TV network. And it's a faith-based network, and it's one of the biggest, right? And so I had applied for a position with them like years back and didn't get it, didn't hear nothing about it. And I'll admit it, was kind of like bummed out. And the opportunity came this time, and I was like, well, I've already dealt with rejection once, so what? It won't. I'm okay with it, right?
Right.
So I applied again, and I got the position.
Nice.
And now, like you said, I'm just meeting people left and right. I'm learning left and right. Like I'm getting all this valuable knowledge and exposure to things.
Right.
And it's just an awesome thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that only comes from like recognizing that, it's okay to not succeed on a certain level because just trying is a success.
Yeah.
And then also like just being thankful for the opportunity that I have. Once I get it, now I'm like, okay, so you gave me this thing, God. What am I going to do with it now?
Yeah.
And I'm going to utilize it. And, I might work like 1 or 2 days a week here and there, whatever, but I get to be on set. I get to learn. And again, I get to meet valuable people. So it's just awesome. And of course, working there, I'm also in a very small way helping to bring the word of God and the hope of God to other people. Yeah. So it's just like a win-win-win-win. You know what I mean? And so I'm just thankful for the opportunity. And one of the guys who kind of inspired me and spoke life into me, a guy by the name of John, like I have to give him, credit. And I've told him before that like I appreciate him saying something as simple as, "Oh man, you can do that."
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh wow, he already does it. And he's done it. He went to school and stuff like that.
Right.
For him to say, "You can do that."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is big for me. You know what I mean? And the podcast I was listening to today was about self-talk and about how like we can have all this negative conversation in our mind that will keep us from accomplishing things and keep us from trying things. And how important it is to take it. And when you said what you said about while you were driving and how you were talking to yourself, hey, look, if you get an opportunity to do XYZ, what you gonna do with it? You know what I'm saying? Like if they offer you this, what you think? Have you thought it through? Are you like all this? That's like the positive way to use self-talk. Like
it's one of listen. Man.
You could be saying the whole time you're driving, you could be saying, "Man, I don't want to do this, man.
Right?
What these people ain't. What are these people gonna think of me, dude? Man? I could be doing it." But you using self-talk, the conversations with yourself to build.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's so important because 90% of what holds us back is ourselves. I mean, I just made up that stat. I don't know if that's true, but I think that on a average day, what keeps people from following passions and excelling is themselves, like telling themselves that they can't do it.
We're down talking ourselves. We're down.
Yeah, and a lot of times because we've had good reason to do that. Maybe we've had people around us that told us we couldn't do it. Maybe we failed. But it's being able to kind of like switch it up and tell ourselves some good stuff, and that's something that I see you doing, and that's awesome.
I don't know about for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna get a little personal,
Okay.
not too personal. I think for me, again, growing up, I had a learning disability,
Right.
right? So I didn't catch on as fast as others, whatever,
Right.
right? And I think seeing my brother be a lawyer,
hmm
and I mean, it comes back to comparison. I think
Right.
that a pocket long, comparison
Right.
is one of those things we do every day, and it's hard
Yeah.
not to do, right?
Yeah.
You know, my brother's
Yeah.
a lawyer, my brother's successful, working for Lee Perry German Construction, whatever, right?
Right.
They might not know, whatever. Being the youngest, you look up, right? You're
Yeah.
kind of like, man, I want to. I can't do that.
Yeah, I can't do
I
that.
can't do that.
Yeah.
I can't do that. How did they do that? Whatever. How can they, like, man, you know what I mean? And then getting older, well, about to be into my 40s, whatever,
Right,
you know what I
right.
mean? And I'm kind of like, well, why can't I not do it?
Right,
I
right.
think my mind's kind of hit that switch, kind of like,
Right.
dude,
Yeah, man.
they're doing what they love to do, whatever. Do what you love to do, whatever.
Right.
And I started from the bottom. I started as a PT.
Yeah.
Not making a lot of money.
Right.
Cool. And I was bouncing here and there. I was all over the wall. I was all over the place.
Right.
whatever, right. But I think when you hit the people that's around you that's going to support you, whatever, they're going to put you where you have to be. Whatever,
Yeah,
you know?
man.
And I think me getting, and again, I'll say this, me getting fired from Wyndham is what God pretty much telling me, like, this is not intended for you, son.
Wow.
Take this. Yes, it hurts right now.
Yeah.
It hurts so bad right now.
Right.
Yes, your family hurts so bad right now.
Yeah, it's a struggle.
But you have to take the struggle right now.
Right.
Take it.
Right.
Right. And I thought about that. Remember a couple of weeks? No, it was when I was driving. I'm like, man,
Wow.
if I didn't take that, if I would have been like, I want to suck it up and just push it through, whatever. But God was like, no, I gotta hit you with this bam. Like,
Right.
you gotta go. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right.
And yes, it put a struggle on this and that, whatever. But it led me back right to the YMCA. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Y called me, and it was kind of like, hey, we're not privately owned or whatever. We got merged, blah, 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 whatever. Once that happened, then this happened, then this happened, then this happened. I was shown a chart for my executive that I'm 2 steps up below to be a president. I'm kind of like, God darn. You know what I mean? And it kind of gave me, and I'm sitting there and I was getting goosebumps.
Goosebumps,
I'm
yeah,
like,
man.
yo, you know what I mean? And I'm like, and she was saying, like, you know more knowledge than this person. Mark.
Right.
Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? And I'm kind of like, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, wow, okay. All right. So for everybody out there, don't take comparison too much on your
There
mind.
you go.
If you have a learning condition, learn from it.
Right.
I learned from mine. I'm awfully blessed that it skipped his generation. My
Right.
son is brilliantly smart.
Okay.
He can add up anything that I couldn't add up at the age that I was, he
Right.
was right now. And I think it's one of those things. I'm gonna hold my chair back on this one. I'll hold my chair back on this one. I think it's one of those
Get back
things.
in there, T.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that God.
But he looking.
It's one of those things that God kind of gave me and blessed me with, kind of like, you might not have that, but I'm gonna give this to your next era.
Come on, man.
You know what I mean? You gotta think about it. Look, think about it. I didn't have that, right? But I'm gonna give you this to reward this guy, and I want to give him what you didn't have, and he's gonna do great things. But now I'm gonna give you this to help him
Yeah.
be great. And
Yeah.
I'm kind of like, God, and again, I'm thinking about all. I'm kind of like, dude,
Your book is writing itself.
it's writing itself, and I'm like, he loves math. I didn't love math.
Right.
If I had a bad grade, I'd be like, I got by.
Right.
He'll come home, he'll be upset
Right.
with
Right.
himself.
Right.
And I'm sitting there and I'm trying to comprehend, kind of like,
Yeah.
what's happening?
He's like an improved version of you, right?
There you go.
He's like an improved
Right.
version of you.
God
Yeah.
gave me a approved version of myself,
Right.
whatever. He was like, this is you.
Right.
This is the upgrade version of you, Marco.
So it's almost like the things you went through, like, were to benefit him and help him. Like
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy how it works.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, but
and it's it got me stuttering. It's like God has a plan for everybody.
Yes.
Don't question him. I don't
Right.
question no more.
No.
I don't question it. I just
Nope.
I always think to myself, you have something for me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to question you.
Yeah.
I'm going to go along with it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
This is the path I'm going right now.
Right.
He wants me to go to this conference. I'm going to go to the conference.
Right.
If they send me a ticket, say, Marco, we need you to go to California.
Right.
Don't question
Look at his face.
Go
You're like, can I go?
Right. No, go with it.
Right.
Go with it. You know what I
Right.
mean? And I tell him, with your sports, school, whatever, don't question it. Just go with it.
Just
whatever,
go with
you
it.
know what I mean?
It's awesome.
So that's my word today. Go with it.
Yeah. Yeah. And see,
Kids, follow your dreams.
there you
Follow
go.
your dreams, kids.
Hey, look. And the thing about it is, a lot of people that you're talking to, most of the people that you're talking to right now aren't kids, right? But you can still follow your dreams. Like, even for us, like at our age, there's still a part of us that's still that little kid trying to follow their dreams.
Yep.
So when you say kids follow your dreams, you're talking to kids, but you're also talking to grown-ups.
Yeah.
And teenagers.
And teenagers. That's right.
Talking to everybody.
That's right. Talking to everybody. So that's a good point. Follow your dream.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's funny thinking about sports, because how big sports is for us. That's one of the things I noticed, or one of the things I heard recently that Deion Sanders said. Primetime said, through all that he had, he had all kind of different issues health-wise and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He said that I never questioned it.
He had gaps.
Yeah. He's
Oh.
yeah.
Well, you talk about more than that, but
Yeah, like in his older years, he had to like go in the hospital and stuff and different things like that. He had to kind of learn how to walk again and different things like that. But just like your dad said, and for everybody listening, like for me, everybody, like, don't question it. Don't question it. You know what I'm saying? To overcome and keep going and realize that there's a blessing in this is the ultimate. You know what I mean?
that's
Like,
the harder part for everybody. You got to look for that blessing.
Right.
Take your time and look for it.
right.
And I'm not going to sit here, but like it was just looking at it is easy. It's not easy. I have to kind of sit back and reflect on some things, whatever.
Right.
And that's for everybody. Just take the time. And again, it's going to be rough.
Yep.
It's going to be like it's impossible.
Yep.
But find a friend,
Yep.
family friend, a
Yes,
brother.
sir.
Find somebody, but like, hey, what do you? Again, you might see it.
Right.
I don't see. You gonna tell me, vice versa. But like, I
Right.
want to tell you. You gonna be like, you know what? Okay.
Good.
All right. Cool. But it's always a message behind what he has. You have to just kind of sit back and reflect on it.
For sure.
And right now, I'm gonna tell you right now, and I will say this: you will lose a couple people on the way.
Wow.
Some people not going to agree, and it's hard to say this. You're going to lose a couple people on the way. You might have a good friend and they might not agree,
Right.
but I agree,
Right.
and this is what's doing me.
Right.
And you're going to lose family and friends on the way.
Yeah.
Sad
Yeah.
to say, but that's
Yeah.
that's kind of the way that it works. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's
Because I was told you changed, Marco, and I'm like,
right.
I did change.
Right.
I'm sorry you don't see it that way,
Right.
but I did change.
Yeah.
I'm changing for the best of me.
Yeah. Yeah.
People, oh yeah, I'm like, but I had one person, and I'm gonna say no names. They're gonna know who they are. They're gonna be like, Marco's the type of person. He's not going to respond to a negative response. He's going to let it ride.
Right.
So if you send an email, a message, or say something to him, he's not going to respond, and it's going to burn you more than anything else. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's what I always do.
Right.
I don't respond. And if you send a negative message to me, I'm going to look at it, I'm going to be like this. Delete. I don't have, it's wasting my energy, man.
Right. That's good.
It's wasting my energy.
That's good.
And then maybe the person behind it would kind of be like, well, dang, maybe I shouldn't,
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, and to this day, I follow by it. And I told my son, if somebody ever, they'll just delete it.
Delete it.
Because then the person probably the next thing will probably like, well, dang.
Yeah.
maybe I should have sent that message.
Yeah,
Whatever.
yeah, yeah,
But you
yeah.
will lose friends all the way.
Right.
But I would say you'll gain on the way. You'll gain people that's on the same
Yep.
mind level as you.
Yep.
And they're gonna be like, I see you.
Yeah.
It's like how come me, you know what I mean? When you're on the same eye level, whatever, mind
Right.
level, whatever, we're gonna grow, whatever. Like, hey, cool, hey, man, I see you, whatever. You
Right.
know. And if I'm down, you're down.
Yeah.
Man, get up, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Get
Let's
up,
go.
man.
Let's go.
go.
Let's go. Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
go. Let's do this.
Yeah, you said so many real things right there, man. You said so many real things about how, like, yeah, your circle changes
It's gonna change.
as you make different sacrifices and stuff for yourself, and you make decisions for yourself, and you set goals for yourself, and you try to get to those goals. There are some people who are gonna fall off and not believe in your goals and your dreams like you are.
No, unfortunately.
Yeah, somebody said recently, I can't think of who it was, but they just said, like, they all can't go. Like, on this journey that I'm going on, I would be foolish to think that everybody who I started with can go to each next step. Like, everybody can't go, and it's kind of like another analogy for it is pruning a tree.
Yeah.
It's like you sometimes the tree needs some dead stuff cut off of it, or some weaker stuff cut off of it, or you cut some branches down here, and next thing you know, flowers and fruit come out the top. So yeah.
Or
it
I
turned
mean,
off.
that's okay.
It's all good.
Or I mean, here's the big analogy, whatever. I mean, look at Jesus' disciples, man. He thought they thought he boys were riding with him,
Right.
but at the end of the day, they weren't riding with
They
him.
were out. Yeah.
It wasn't in his circle.
Right.
It wasn't in his circle. But the God forget, whoever's negative to me, you can be. I forgive you.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh
For
man,
sure.
I forgive you.
For sure.
I might not ride with you. But
Yeah.
I forgive you.
Yeah. See, that's the thing too, and we can talk about this on another episode.
Oh yeah.
Just learning more about forgiveness. Just learning like what forgiveness really means and everything. And a lot of people think that forgiveness means everything goes back to what it was. And a lot of people think forgiveness means I allow you to maybe wrong me in that same way again. No, that's not what forgiveness is about. So yeah, a lot of times you forgive, and then, every time you forgive and you move on, right?
Yeah.
So things are gonna change. It's gonna look different. So yeah, that's big. That's big. That's
man.
yeah. Everybody's not gonna be able to go, but we forgive you. We still love you.
Oh yeah. I love you.
You know what I mean? And we kind of need those people and those things to happen sometimes to, like, A, keep us grounded, and B, kind of like push us along sometimes too, because sometimes having somebody say, nah, I don't think you can do that is just enough to say, oh, I could do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not about proving anybody wrong. It's about showing yourself that whatever that person said negatively about you, that's not me.
No.
I mean, you know what I mean?
No.
Because there's going to be part of us sometimes that might say, oh, baby, they're right.
Gotcha.
That person who said I'm not good enough, maybe they're right.
Yeah.
But, we got to show that voice in our head. Nah, we got to keep going. We can do it, man. We can do it.
Awesome.
And,
Awesome.
Yeah, I love it, man. I love it. I love to see the journey. I love to see our journeys. I love to see our journeys with our kids. I love to see our career journeys, our faith journeys, our journeys as husbands, man. It's brothers, husbands, fathers. It's all awesome to see. And I think that's one of the simple joys of life is just watching our journeys, man, and just seeing where I was 10 years ago and how I've improved. You know what I mean? How I've grown into something more.
Yeah, man. So I think, kind of end off this podcast, I think the summertime podcast shows, I think we should travel. It might be far. It could be Carolina, DC, Beach, whatever. Kind of pick areas, to do our, that we can hang at, whatever, and do a podcast show.
Right.
Do that, whatever. That'd be something new. I don't know about you. Father Day is coming up. Keep a tradition. Last year we did the same thing. We'll have a adult beverage, whatever. Chill by the poolside, whatever, man. It might just be me and you, whatever. But try to bite a couple of dads.
I was gonna say, anybody who want to come through is welcome to come through.
Come through, whatever, man.
You know what I mean? Because it's the Where My Dad Jet show, so it's for dads, but anybody come through.
Anybody's welcome.
Yeah.
But I will say this right here. the podcast is my vocal, and I think me speaking vocally, whatever, it opened up everybody's ear, and I think everybody's hearing us.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna keep it going regardless. If I do become a CEO, I'm still doing a podcast.
Oh yeah. Facts.
I might have a business suit on.
Yeah, facts.
I might go up the tie.
Yeah.
But I'm still going to do the
We
podcast.
may be recording the podcast on your private jet.
Private jet, whatever.
Yeah.
You might gotta get somebody recording for us.
Yeah. Have a whole crew.
Crew, whatever. Whole film crew, whatever. You know what I mean?
Hey.
Have little finger foods on the side, whatever. You know what I mean? A little makeup artist.
Hey.
Like you sweating on your head. Whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But look, we're gonna keep on doing it because this right here is my happy place too. At the same time, just like PT, this is my happy place. I never thought I'd be doing, recording and sending out, information to y'all, whatever. But it's what I love to do, whatever. I would have did it if it wasn't for my birthday, whatever. And I guess I was doing the speeches. Will was like, "Hey man, I didn't get you a mic, man. You need a mic.
Yes, sir.
Your vocal need to be heard, whatever."
Hey,
so I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, like I just told you, and just kind of saw for you, potential multiple books, because I could see you writing a book that's about like training, and maybe a book that's about like caring for your wellness 360, right?
Yeah.
But then I could also see you writing a book that's like my journey, my life's journey up to this point.
Yeah.
From learning disability to, leading in ways that I never thought possible.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And accomplishing things that I didn't see myself accomplishing necessarily, and just how how your mindset has changed and how your confidence has increased, and all those different things that I know other people want to know about, man. They want to see it. There's somebody somewhere with a similar story or a totally different story that can still get something out of your story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I believe that. I believe that for everybody. And that's kind of where the Valuable Minds came from. We talked about it.
You might shout out them.
Yeah, exactly. We might shout out them, and because the Valuable Minds, that name, the Valuable Minds, just came from my feeling that we all have something.
Mm-hmm.
We all have something, man. Too many of us go our whole life never sharing that something.
Yeah.
Too many of us go our whole life never really feeling like we've got something of value, but we do.
Yeah,
we do.
Yeah.
And one person they cook. And their recipes, they can just come up with recipes in their head, or maybe they're taking recipes from past generations. Another person is their workouts and their secrets and their tips.
Yep.
Another person is just learning. I know how to speak in public real good, so I can give you, advice on how to speak good in public, or just all these different things. But what I think all of us definitely have that's valuable is hope, stories of hope. Stories of I didn't think, or it didn't look like, but it was, and it did, and it came to fruition. So, yeah, man.
Awesome.
Yeah, man.
Awesome,
the Valuable Minds right here, where my dad's at podcast, by the pool again. School's almost done. So, we got to throw it to him. We got to give him his opportunity. And I want all the energy of somebody who knows they're about to be done with school. You excited, right?
Yeah.
You excited for summer?
Kids, you should be excited right now.
Yeah, they should. They should.
I feel bad for the grown-ups now. I feel bad for grown-ups, but
Why?
lucky kids. We're lucky kids.
Why do you feel bad for growing up? I'd like to hear about that.
Okay. They're working, in summertime, they're missing all the fun.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But sometimes we get to take vacations and we get to drive to Florida and we get to do fun things like that, right?
Plus, not Florida this time. It's going to be like,
It's going to be in the hundreds? I hear you.
If you said you wanted to hear it, let's just hear it. One of my dads said, come and back to see full, back to subscribe, hit the notification bell, come in and top to the cat podcast. I'm Marco, that's Will, and that's the first Marco. We out here. Where my dad's at. We right here.
Right here, yo. Let's go. We right here.
Coming from the one up and one down.
That's it. I love it. Nice. Yeah, that's what's up, my man. We still recording everywhere?
Everything's so green.
Is the phone still recording?